Ferrari just shocked the Formula One world. The 2026 car is here, sleek, aggressive, brutal, and Fred Vasseur says it's built to end Red Bull's dominance. But here's the twist. Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari's blockbuster signing, is already struggling in 2025. Will he even be here to drive it? Stick around, because this new red beast could rewrite F1 history, and it might decide Hamilton's legacy once and for all. Ferrari unveiled their 2026 Challenger in classic Ferrari fashion. Music, lights, that unmistakable Rosso Corsa red. But this wasn't just theater. This car is different. Every winglet, every vent, every curve is pure performance. Ferrari wants to send a message. They are done playing catch-up. And with the 2026 regulations, timing couldn't be more perfect. Because this is not just another car launch. This is Ferrari's shot at redemption. So what makes 2026 so important? 3 things. 1. Engines, half electric, half fuel. It's not just about horsepower anymore. It's about balance, energy recovery, and efficiency. 2. Fuel. Formula One goes fully sustainable. That means every drop of power has to be cleaner, greener, smarter. 3. Car design, lighter, shorter, more nimble. And aerodynamics will flip the order upside down. Think about it. 2009 gave us Brawn GP. 2014 gave us Mercedes domination. 2026 could give us Ferrari's rebirth. But opportunity is only valuable if you're prepared. And Ferrari is betting everything that this time they are. The power unit is the heart of this project. Ferrari's engineers have been obsessed with one goal: efficiency without losing power. Their new hybrid system? It's rumored to recover more energy under braking than any rival. It's smooth, it's sharp, and it gives drivers instant torque out of corners. And the internal combustion side? Tuned to work perfectly with sustainable fuels. Lighter, cooler, stronger. But here's the secret. This isn't just about raw speed. Ferrari's chasing consistency. Because in F1, a car that's easy to drive at the limit beats a car that's only fast sometimes. If Ferrari's power unit delivers both power and consistency, they'll finally erase the gap to Red Bull's monster Honda RBPT engines. Now let's talk design. This car looks mean for a reason. Sharper side pods, slimmer cooling intakes, a redesigned rear wing for maximum DRS effect. But the biggest weapon is hidden underneath, the floor. Ferrari has developed a radical new underfloor system that manages airflow with surgical precision. Why does that matter? Because downforce wins races. More grip through corners, more stability at high speed, and crucially, less drag when it counts. That balance is everything. Red Bull's been the master of it since 2022. But now, Ferrari believes they've cracked the code. And none of this happens without Fred Vasseur. Since joining Ferrari, Vasseur has been cutting out the politics, forcing departments to work together, and demanding accountability. Ferrari used to collapse under pressure. Strategy blunders, miscommunication, it became a meme. But under Vasseur, the mood is shifting. He's ruthless. If something doesn't work, it's gone. If someone underperforms, they're replaced. He's not here to wait for the future. He's here to win now. And with the 2026 reset, he knows Ferrari has their best chance in nearly 2 decades. Vasseur's vision is simple. Ferrari doesn't just want to compete, Ferrari wants to dominate. And for the first time in years, it actually feels possible. Of course, the fastest car in the world is useless without the right drivers. Ferrari has 3 big names: Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, and Lewis Hamilton. Let's start with Leclerc. This guy has carried Ferrari's hopes for years. Blistering qualifying speed, fearless overtakes, and a hunger for that first world title. If this car is good, Leclerc is ready to take it all the way. Then there's Carlos Sainz, the underdog. He doesn't always get the spotlight, but he's consistent, calm, and ruthless when he needs to be. Remember, he's the only non-Red Bull driver to win races consistently in the Verstappen era. With the right machine, he could shock the world. And finally, Lewis Hamilton, the biggest storyline of all. 7-time world champion, the man who left Mercedes in 2025 to join Ferrari, the man who wanted to close his career with glory in red. But here's the brutal reality. Hamilton's Ferrari start has been rocky. He's struggling to adapt. The results haven't matched the hype. And the press? They're already asking, will Hamilton even be there in 2026? It's drama, it's pressure, and it's exactly the kind of storyline that makes this sport so electric. Imagine this: Hamilton stays, the 2026 car is a rocket, and he wins title number 8 with Ferrari. That would be the greatest comeback in F1 history. But if he doesn't turn things around, Ferrari's future rests on Leclerc and Sainz. And maybe, just maybe, Hamilton's Ferrari dream ends before it ever truly begins. Now let's be real, this all sounds incredible, but Ferrari has been here before. Fast cars, high hopes, and then, boom, strategy disasters, reliability issues, collapse under pressure, 17 years without a championship. That's not an accident. So the question isn't just, is the car good? It's, can Ferrari get out of their own way? Because history tells us speed alone won't save them. And don't forget, Ferrari won't have a free run. Red Bull remains the team to beat. Their cars are engineered for precision, consistency, and raw speed. Max Verstappen isn't just a driver, he's a strategic weapon. His aggressive overtakes, tire management, and relentless pace have kept Red Bull at the top for years. Ferrari's revolutionary car might be fast, but Red Bull's experience and championship mindset could still give them the edge. Mercedes is another major threat. Quiet, methodical, and relentless, they've been preparing for the 2026 regulations longer than anyone. Their engineers are experts at extracting performance even in tricky conditions. While they might not always dominate like in the past, they're still a force to be reckoned with in every race. Then there's Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton is in the spotlight like never before. After a tough 2025 season, questions swirl about his future, but he's determined to prove he can still win. His experience and racecraft could be Ferrari's secret weapon, but pressure is mounting. Every mistake, every tire choice, every corner counts. The competition isn't just about top speed. Reliability, strategy, and adaptability will decide the championship. A single misstep could hand victory to Red Bull or Mercedes. Ferrari might have a revolutionary car, but the rivalry will test their limits and Hamilton's resilience like never before. 2026 isn't just a battle of machines, it's a fight of wits, courage, and precision. Red Bull's mastery, Mercedes' adaptability, and Ferrari's bold gamble with Hamilton make this championship unpredictable, thrilling, and impossible to miss. So, let's put it all together. Ferrari's 2026 car is bold, it's radical, it's powerful, but will it be enough? Will Lewis Hamilton still be in red to drive it? Will Leclerc finally get his crown? Or will Sainz rise as the surprise champion? I want to hear from you. Drop your predictions in the comments right now. Who do you think will lead Ferrari in 2026? Hamilton, Leclerc, or Sainz? And more importantly, will Ferrari finally break the curse? If you thought this Ferrari was insane, wait until you see what Mercedes is secretly building for 2026. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next Formula One shocker is just around the corner. Ferrari's 2026 car is here. It's fast, it's furious, but is it unstoppable? We're about to find out. Adrian Newey, the mastermind behind Red Bull's dynasty, is now building Aston Martin's all-new 2026 F1 car. Yes, the AMR26 could be a total game-changer, and inside the paddock, it's already being called insane. Under wild new 2026 rules, with active aero, new power units, and radical size cuts, Newey is starting from a blank slate, and he's going all in. Backed by Honda power and a billion-dollar factory, this might be F1's most dangerous dark horse yet. So let's dive into today's video and break down everything we know about Aston Martin's 2026 bombshell. Aston Martin is designing the AMR26 from scratch under F1's all-new 2026 rules, a sweeping reboot of aerodynamics, chassis, and engines. The active aerodynamics rules will allow in-race wing adjustment. Cars will have two modes, a high downforce cornering setting, and a drag-reducing straight-line Super DRS mode. In straight mode, both front and rear wings open for minimal drag. In corner mode, they close to generate maximum downforce. Similarly, ground effect tunnels are gone. Teams return to a flat floor and diffuser, more akin to pre-2022. The new cars will be smaller and lighter. Wheelbase is cut by 200 millimeters to 3,400 millimeters, and overall width by 100 millimeters, with narrower 18-inch tires. Power units become 50-50 hybrid. The ICE and battery split equally. MGUK output roughly triples to approximately 350 kilowatts, while the complex MGUH is eliminated. Crucially, Newey notes that with a short development window, Aston must nail the immovable parts first. The suspension layout, fuel tank shape, wheelbase, and monocoque, everything that cannot be easily changed in season. Bodywork and wing details come later, so they can be tweaked via upgrades. But the fundamental architecture is being frozen now. Aston Martin's AMR25 2025 was tweaked for drivability, but the AMR26 will look very different under the new rules. Key design pillars include active wings, two-mode, aero. New 2026 rules permit adjustable front-ouch rear wings. Bob Bell explains teams must develop two concepts at once: a cornering mode versus a straights mode, essentially a supercharged DRS. This forces radical rethinking of aero development, with extensive simulation and driver-in-the-loop work. Flat underbody, full ground effect tunnels, Venturi tunnels, are outlawed. A MR26 will revert to a flat floor and conventional diffuser. This simplifies airflow, but also removes a huge downforce tool, demanding new solutions in body shaping. Compact dimensions. Cars shrink to 1900 millimeters wide, minus 100 millimeters from 2025, and wheelbases are capped at 3,400 millimeters. Designers must pack all components into less space, heightening the challenge. A challenge Newey is relishing as he urges engineers to find clever packaging solutions. Powertrain upgrade. Engines will run on 100% sustainable fuel with 50% energy from ICE and 50% from battery. Aston's Works Honda unit will be new, but simpler, no MGU-H, and still turbocharged V6 hybrid. Newey and engine guru Andy Cowell expect this shift to require changes in weight distribution and cooling layout, further influencing chassis design. Design focus. Fundamentals first. Because many chassis parameters are locked in by regs, Newey is currently fixing the non-adjustable bits. He's doing hours and hours on front rear suspension geometry, center fuel tank dimensions, and wheelbase. In-season development, by contrast, will concentrate on altering bodywork and wing shapes around this core architecture. Aston Martin has pulled out all stops to capitalize on 2026. Lawrence Stroll's investment has built a world-class tech campus, and the team now has its own state-of-the-art wind tunnel. Newey himself praised the incredible new tunnel and campus, noting he already has ideas to optimize them. Former Mercedes customer AM is transitioning into a full works team with Honda. Honda, though previously withdrawn, will now exclusively supply AM's 2026 engine, the same spec that powers Red Bull teams. This partnership gives Aston direct access to a championship-proven power unit and integration of hybrid technology. Key sponsors are on board. Aramco, Fuel Development, and Valvoline, Lubricants, recently signed a formal collaboration on the 2026 program. Behind the scenes, AM has retooled its workforce. Bob Bell candidly notes, "We're almost a brand new team compared to 2021. Headcount and engineering talent have surged, and the group is building in-house gearboxes, suspension designs, pit equipment, and even software, areas once outsourced to Mercedes." As Bell puts it, "You're not going to beat someone if you're using their kit." So AM is internalizing everything to close the gap. All of this is aimed at one goal: 2026 championship contention. Team leadership has openly prioritized 2026 over 2025 development. Cowell explains they carried over a lot of componentry from the AMR24 into the AMR25, so that engineers can focus on the new car. The 2025 AMR25 is thus a stopgap. Its underbody hardware is mostly carryover. Bell admits their best resource investment is on 2026, since next year represents a far better opportunity to progress up the competitive order. In short, AM all but skipped full 2025 upgrades to maximize 2026 readiness, a gamble that only a bold growth plan could justify. Aston Martin finished 2024 fifth, well behind the top trio, but everything changes in 2026. With Newey designing and Honda powering, AM expects a quantum leap. Alonso himself has hinted at high hopes. Marca reported him saying something big is coming, and that the team is 100% focused on 2026. Industry pundits note Newey historically excels at new rule eras, as seen in 2022, and see Aston as a potential dark horse. Even ex-champion Flavio Briatore calls 2026 a golden opportunity for Newey to do magic and vault Aston into victory contention. So there you have it, Aston Martin's bold leap into F1's future. With Adrian Newey at the helm, a brand new car philosophy, and exclusive Honda power, the AMR26 isn't just a new car, it's a warning shot to the entire grid. Is this the team that will finally break the Red Bull Mercedes Ferrari stronghold? One thing's for sure, 2026 is shaping up to be absolute chaos. Will Mercedes finally break Red Bull's grip on Formula One in 2026? A massive leak just gave us the clearest clue yet. The Silver Arrow's 2026 Challenger has just been pulled back into the spotlight, not because of engine secrets, but thanks to a viral leak that teases every contour and aerodynamic innovation born from the radical 2026 regulations. Today, we're unpacking how the rulebook rewrite is reshaping Mercedes's design philosophy, from active aero wings to underfloor aerodynamics, from compact packaging to thermal tricks. And we'll even pinpoint when those first shakedowns will let us separate hype from reality. Strap in, because this isn't your average spec sheet. It's a sneak peek at Mercedes's roadmap for rule-defying performance. Long before the first engine fires up, every team must digest the seismic shifts in the 2026 regulations. Mercedes engineers have been quietly reprogramming their CFD workflows and wind tunnel campaigns to embrace two-mode active aerodynamics. Gone is the passive wing architecture of the past. In its place, FIA mandates front and rear elements that switch mid-lap between a high downforce cornering configuration and a drag-slashing Super DRS mode. In leaked CAD visuals of the W17, you can actually see the multi-segment wing profiles stacked like a deck of cards, ready to open and close under hydraulic command. This complexity demands not only mechanical reliability, but lightning-fast software integration, because split-second wing transitions can be the difference between undercut success and losing a position on the pit straight. With ground effect Venturi tunnels outlawed, teams return to flat floors and diffusers reminiscent of pre-2022 designs. Mercedes' leak suggests an underbody that's anything but flat, with micro diffuser channels running along the side pod outlets to coax as much low-pressure airflow beneath the car as regulations permit. By pulling exhaust and hot air laterally, rather than dumping it over the top of the bodywork, Mercedes can preserve cleaner external surfaces and higher overall downforce efficiency. The secret lies in the way those side pod undercuts blend into the rear crash structure. Every curve precisely calculated to maximize suction while complying with the floor edge dimensional limits. Shrinking the car's footprint compounds the packaging puzzle. The 2026 wheelbase cap at 3,400 millimeters and overall width trimmed by 100 millimeters force designers to tuck components ever closer together. In the leaked renderings, the monocoque appears more elongated in the driver's section, pushing cockpit seating forward to create room for the new 18-inch tire architecture and reconfigured suspension pickup points. Mercedes has traditionally excelled at kitting out tight rear ends, and here they exploit every millimeter of the revised crash structure to house cooling inlets and the mandatory life safety elements. That swept bodywork silhouette isn't just for show. It reflects a dynamic trade-off between airflow stability at high yaw angles and the stringent side impact protection zones laid out by the FIA. Beyond the headline-grabbing wing gimmicks and underfloor sleight of hand, Mercedes' approach to ride height control under the 2026 rules could prove just as decisive. With the flat floor mandate and the outlawing of ground effect tunnels, every millimeter of ride height now dictates how the diffuser and rear wing see the airflow. In leaked CAD cross-sections, you can spot adjustable ride height push rods at the rear end, likely tuned to hold the car within a razor-thin tolerance band. That means the W17 will run an active heave-damping logic in its suspension software. Nothing illegal, but an ingenious orchestration of spring rates and damper settings that keep the floor at peak suction levels through high-speed sweepers. If Mercedes masters that balance, they can unlock more consistent lap times on bumpy circuits like Silverstone or Suzuka, where preserving underbody downforce moment to moment becomes a crucial advantage. But here's the catch. If they get it even slightly wrong, it could destroy their cornering grip entirely. So how are they planning to control that risk? Another subtle but game-changing innovation hinted at in the leak involves the front wing's end plate fences. The design isn't merely about generating vortices, it's also focused on managing the lateral pressure gradients that feed the barge boards. Those now permitted trimming surfaces tucked behind the front wheels. In the W17 renders, the end plates sport a stepped geometry, channeling airflow inward before dumping it underneath the side pod inlets. That twist helps seal the floor edges against ambient pressure, effectively mimicking ground effect without breaking the rules. It's an aero illusion that permits higher total downforce while respecting FIA dimensional checks, and it underscores how Mercedes has retooled its wind tunnel model banks to reflect every nuance of the 2026 spec sheet. The leaked imagery also flags compliance markers for the new homologation freeze dates, bold red lines drawn around the chassis where changes beyond Q3 2025 would trigger penalties. That transparency shows Mercedes is acutely aware that any deviation from the frozen dimensions would result in hefty fines or even time penalties on the starting grid. The team's legal and technical departments have therefore worked hand in glove to validate every contour against the FIA's 2026 technical directive, ensuring that the very innovations you see in these CAD stills will make it all the way to the Bahrain launch. Mercedes has confirmed its 2026 private test schedule in Barcelona from January 26th to 30th, of which only 3 days can be used for running. These sessions will serve as the first real proof of concept for every CFD model and wind tunnel iteration, forcing engineers to juggle aero validation laps with hybrid energy management runs, all under total media blackout. The real spectacle arrives in Bahrain, where 2 open media shakedown windows from February 11th to 13th and 18th to 20th will let live feeds capture idle maps, cooling efficiency, and aeroflow patterns under the desert sun. Keep your eyes and your data streams locked on cooling outlet temperatures and wing mode transitions. Those will be the clearest signs of how Mercedes tackled the 2-mode challenge. When Mercedes wheels the W17 out in Barcelona, it won't just be about lap times. It will reveal whether that intricate dance of ride height control, end plate vortex management, stage thermal relief, and legal tightrope walking can coexist harmoniously on circuit. By the time the cameras light up in Sakir, we'll have our first real glimpse of whether Mercedes' rulebook revolution translates into an on-track masterpiece or gets grounded by the unforgiving realities of endurance and reliability. Are the silver arrows poised to unlock the next generation of F1 performance? Or will this regulatory revolution level the field for every rival? Let me know in the comments below.